Hi ladies and gentlemen, it's still March 15th and I was really looking forward to doing another one of those kind of spiritual or philosophical discussions tonight, but some things are happening that I really need to get this out to you. It's kind of a real brief briefing on the situation that's going on in North Korea and Iran, and let me just read this real quick, that way I won't miss anything. Okay, here we go. The world is moving toward major global war. North Korea is likely the real trigger for World War III, but they usually bluff and bluster. Every year, the North Koreans fire on South Korea and make threats. The current threats, however, are more disturbing. The nuclear device they just tested was likely a plutonium weapon, which would have come from Russia or China, not internal North Korean technology. This shows the Chinese and Russian influence is on the events. Usually China and Russia rein in North Korea, saving it for use in their own time. Actually, the New World Order controls this and wants North Korea to be available for the trigger when they want it. The US and Israel, their actions upon Iran, might decide if the Russians and Chinese give the North Koreans the order to attack. However, in the meantime, before that can happen, before the attack on Iran can happen, Syria and President Assad must be removed before the Iranian attack, which could slow down initiation of the war against Iran by the United States. But North Korea seems to be breaking out from their restraints. And I'm going to use some bad words here, but I hope you'll understand why. Or the young pimp pile of shit is trying to flex his undeveloped nanny bitch muscles. Sorry, but I have never had any love for these bestial bastards. North Korea needs the hype of military conflict to keep their people under control. The next few days or a week will tell if things will become critical or settle back into a stare-down stalemate. And then we'll just have to wait, because Russia or China or both will make the decision when they're ready to move. Should the situation go hot now, or at any time, it will likely begin with a massive conventional attack by North Korea into South Korea, with unconventional units and weapons attacks deep inside South Korea, Japan, and the United States. Without a delivery system, at this time, that could change in 3 to 5 years. They would carry tactical nukes with them to sea or into South Korea, and likely sacrifice the units in order to detonate them in the selected kill zones. The use of chemical and biological weapons are certainly a concern as well. Should the U.S. employ tactical nuclear weapons on the Korean Peninsula, China and or Russia will likely launch a nuclear high-altitude EMP missile strike of 6 to 8 nuclear weapons across the United States. High altitude. These weapons are very hard to defend against and will result in immediate electronic failure of power and communications systems. 30 minutes later, a limited nuclear strike on U.S. command and military centers would likely occur. How well we could defend against that, I am not prepared to say. The U.S. or its allies would likely launch a nuclear attack against China and or Russia. In other words, the dangers here are huge. Add to that the missing 50 suitcase nukes and the many chemical and biological weapons, and the situation is grim. The U.S. does have ICBM interception systems, but they will not guarantee that there is no nuclear detonation, and they are not 100% accurate, and they're not totally tested. While we rattle sabers against Iran, North Korea has always been a rogue and evil state. As I mentioned before, a false flag or real attack by North Korean special forces or sympathizers in the U.S. would guarantee martial law here at home, killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Please prepare as best you can. I sent info during the Fukushima accident about how to guard against contamination, but that will not protect you against blast and blast radiation. There isn't much that will. If you live near any government, military, or communications facility, you are in a strike zone. Get out. while you can. Try to start your economy, your business or whatever in a rural area if at all possible. Russia and China might hold the reins on North Korea for another 8 to 12 years, unless North Korea goes completely rogue now. And like I say, that seems to be a possibility. In either case, prepare with all the time you have. Okay? Now, I just want to say another thing here. You know, I've been on this for a while. This is a multi-pronged attack. This is going on everywhere. Look what they're doing to us in D.C. Look what they're doing to us at the state government level, like in New York, California. So I'm going to say something here along those lines. Like the U.S. has done in provoking the Muslims into rising up in Southwest Asia and across the world, the New World Order and the U.S. government are provoking conservatives here at home, trying to get them to react against the unlawful and unconstitutional actions that the governments are taking. This would justify martial law if the conservatives react that way. This would justify martial law and assaults on conservatives, vets, gun owners, Christians, who are now called terrorists by the LA Times and the Southern Poverty Law Center. Therefore, also the DHS and DOJ would also be calling us that. In other words, they are trying to bait us into not just a more verbal confrontation so that they can label us as domestic terrorists, but to bait us into an active action to try to counter their efforts. Then they can react and declare us domestic terrorists, absolutely, and move on us. Refrain, please. The moral high ground is always not to be caught throwing the first punch, or the second, if you can help it. All right? Update. I decided I better add an addendum to this. Sorry about the little bit of an echo in here. There's another possibility here, and that is, remember that Chinese general that was at the Pentagon? Remember that the Chinese came out and said that they wanted Obama to have a protracted war against American gun owners. Okay, so let's say that North Korea mobilizes. Let's say that U.S. forces, military forces, and our mercenary forces, and there are a lot of them, believe me, mobilize in the United States. Most people wouldn't think that it's because of, you know, a move on the gun owners, that it was a response to the North Korean problem. Then these military forces are in place with checkpoints and those types of things, and then they turn it on the gun owners and the conservatives and the Christians. Just another possibility, okay? I just want you to be aware for any possible scenario. This is called enemy courses of action, trying to understand what they might be. Reverse engineering, trying to figure out what's going on. I should have put that in the video a little more clear when I did that just a few minutes ago, but hopefully this will get you to see the bigger picture. Okay, thanks guys.